Hello, everyone. How are we doing tonight? Hopefully, you all had a great weekend, had a chance to recharge, regain your energy. Pleasure. And yes, Brian, hopefully, a beautiful week to come. I'm gonna give you guys a little more insight into what I discussed in the announcement, right? Just coming close to elections, and if you guys didn't know, elections are coming for the US presidential elections here in November. I don't want to say an exact date, but if I'm not mistaken, it is November 5th. All right. Please make sure to double check that information. I was gonna check that right before the call, but I forgot. But elections are coming. I'm unfamiliar with how the markets interact with such a high volatility and high uncertainty in the markets, right? So, because I am unsure, because I am unfamiliar with the effect of such an event, I'm just gonna go half risk. There's no point. My year is already done. I could stop trading till the end of the year and I would be extremely happy with my results, right? This is what consistency brings you. I do not need to work if I don't want to. I love trading. Trading makes me money. I'm going to keep trading. But I don't want it to affect my results for the year. So I have specific basically risk management rules, right? We are risk managers before we are, um, I was going to say predictors, but that sounds bad. But before we are traders, we are risk managers. And so I will be half risk at least until mid-November. I'm going to wait for the charts, the conditions to tell me when I can go on full risk again. Once I am comfortable with how the markets are reacting, how the markets are basically the day-to-day price action, right? And don't worry, I will fill you guys along through it, but this is new for me, so I wanted to take this safe. I also have specific rules, specific targets for the week, to the downside, I mean. So I have specific stops. Just like prop firms give you a daily maximum loss limit, I'm setting my own weekly maximum loss limits to 5R, meaning that the worst I can do this month is minus 20R. And I want to keep it that way because, yes, in case you guys don't look at the dates, we are the 27th of October, which means we are starting the month of November, and we are actually starting it on Friday with a beautiful NFP week. So we did discuss the news. Every day is a trading day, but Thursday, and I'm not going to be looking for setups at Wednesday PM session. This is just basic NFP protocol for me. It trumps anything but FOMC, and we don't have FOMC this week. So very simple way to look at it. And as I stated, I'm going to be half risk the whole week going into next week, possibly the week after that, and we'll see in due time. But with all these news and the fact that just like before a high impact news event, we build up liquidity, right? We engineer liquidity. Well, this is what I'm anticipating with the elections being there. I'm anticipating us to build up liquidity just before the elections. Sorry, guys, and then have a huge injection of volatility due to the elections and do some nice runs. This is what I'm anticipating, by the way, with elections, how we will interact with the elections, but we'll have to see then and there. But with these news this week, I am still going to anticipate some movement. Now, as I stated, I'm going to anticipate some smaller movement due to being just before the elections, but it could also be quite the opposite. And for example, we run aggressively higher just before elections so that elections can up, or vice versa. We run aggressively lower and elections will bring us higher. But all of that is to say that I'm anticipating that this week will engineer liquidity, and I will keep that in mind that this week I will be trading manipulation. Now, before even looking at price, this is where you guys probably saw in the announcement, and if you did not vote yet, please go vote. But most people were looking for a little bit more of statistical analysis within these outlooks, within our price action reviews. So this is what we're going to be focusing on going into the future. I am going to do my outlook just like I always do, but you guys will get to see the part that you don't usually see as to the statistics inside the Rice Statistics app. I feel like I'm saying statistics way too much, and how I personally utilize them. So I should be able to change my window pretty easily. Let me just see that. And Chrome should be right here, and Chrome is not being recognized. There we go. I just have to click on it. So right here, you should just see the Rice Statistics app. Do you think elections are manipulated? Oh, that is some conspiracy type stuff that I don't want to discuss here. I don't see the value in discussing stuff like this, so I don't want to be going into it and talking about what is manipulated, what isn't. I know what price will do. I know I have my edge in the markets, and that is what I want to focus on. This Discord is a trading Discord. You guys can talk politics as much as you want, but it is not a point of interest for me personally. This is, by the way, if we go a bit higher and you see the filters I'm using, I am looking specifically only at election years. This is only for this month, right? But I'm looking only at election years. So 2024 November doesn't exist yet. So you'll see that even if I remove this, well, I do have to connect once again. Well, you guys will get a little more insights than usual. Looking at the month and selecting filtering based on the years, and let's just have that 2024, 2020, 2016, 2012, and 2008 is where I want to go, last 5 election years. And if I remove 2024 right here, well, currently you can see it, but if we go even further and filter so we only see November data, and I put in 2024, you'll also see this. We have a total of 16 months. Is it a big data set? Not at all, right? It is not a big data set. But using percentages, I can have some pretty useful data, at least for myself. Now, what I want to focus on is looking at the extremes. Why? Because I want to know, I want to be able to profile this month, right? So I can't go back to TradingView quite easily, if I can say it like that. But I will try and focus on not switching too much. But as we move forward, you guys will see I will get more used to the flow of switching between apps and switching screens. But what do I see? Well, first of all, let's look at the monthly high and the monthly low. What I understand is that more often than not, Novembers during election years are bullish. I know that there is a 75% chance we are bullish, and I know that there is a 69% chance that we are going to raid the previous month's high. Now, if I look at how this price action is formed, I can see just from these two charts, not even looking at the numbers, which you could, but that there is a very high chance that we are going to form the low of the month during the first week. So what am I going to look for? I'm going to look for a candidate of a low of the week that is going to turn into a low of the month. What do I need for that? I need a key level in liquidity, SMT, at a key point in time. Now, I'm not going to dive deeper and give you guys all the value. You can go look at it yourselves if you have the Rice Statistics app. But I am also going to use weekly statistics to give me more confluence as to when this happens, right? My element of time is combining statistics, which day of the week we are, and how the week is going to develop to it. It is the same logic I'm utilizing here for the month. I want to see key structure form at point in time, and I'm going to trust it if it forms when I expect it to. So for example, I expect the low of the month to form during the first week. And I expect that we'll be running at least until the second week. We can perhaps consolidate into a close, right? This is 50-50. Or if not, I'm going to look at week 4 and 5, which means expansion until the end of the month, right? There is not always a week 5, but we're going to look for, well, I am going to look for expansion until the end of the month. Now, during the month, I'm going to implement even further filtering to try and look at when more precisely, like for example, if I don't have a key level during week 1 that I can trust as a low of the month, then I'm going to filter it to only look at when it was after the week 1 and so on and so forth. So if we go back to TradingView here, as I said, it's going to take me some time to get used to the flow of switching between, but I'll get it. What do I know? Well, I want to look at week 1. Well, what is week 1? Technically, it is this week. Why? Because our last day of the week, which is Friday right here, is in November. So that would qualify as week 1, November. So I'm going to look for this week or early next week, which is also a possibility, to form the low of the month. What would that tell me? Well, very simple. I want to see lower prices, right? I want to see an open low for the month. What does that mean? Well, this week we have to go higher. Early in the week we have to go higher because NFP, right? And as NFP tells me, the whole week is manipulation up until NFP, sometimes into Thursday because we form SMT, right? So I'm going to look for higher pricing to then go lower. If we look at the current price action, right, on the daily, we still have the same things we always have, right? Very big higher time frame divergence, right? Higher time frame SMT. And just like last week and the week before, we have the same exact analysis. So we have SMT, but price still tends to go higher, right? We can look at last week, and if you guys don't remember last week's outlook, and I just add a separation here, we had the same thing early on in the week. We had SMT right here between these points, and we still had the same analysis. We were like, okay, well, we want to see higher prices, but we know we're gonna have to retrace. So what are we gonna do? Well, we're gonna retrace lower to then continue higher. I want to see that flip. I want to see the switch. I want to see us expand lower quite aggressively because we have levels right here that I don't trust us leaving open. So if I just put that to the right color very easily, these are the same levels we've been talking about for a few weeks now, right? Equal lows right here on the lower time frame, of course, equal lows right here. These are levels that are too straight, too clean, as ICT likes to say, right? So I'm looking for these specific levels and I'm looking for a shift. Now this could come with the elections, right? So we could see higher pricing up until next week, mid next week, and then see lower prices coming in with elections. For example, if Kamala Harris gets elected, I will be shorting the frick out of these markets, just to give you guys a little bit of comedy, I guess. I will not share my political opinions anymore, but this is not what I'd like to see. Best case scenario, we go down first, okay? And we don't have to go all the way down here. This is me in a perfect world, in a perfect market. The move I would like to see in the next 1 or 2, perhaps 3 months is us going lower for higher, right? Just taking into consideration also seasonal analysis. You know what? That's another great opportunity to head on the app very quickly. This is something I don't talk about a lot, but I like to use seasonality as profiling opportunities. So if we just head right here and just look at NASDAQ, right? Let's keep it super simple. This is a chart that averages the daily percentages, the daily movement, pretty much daily volatility based on different time periods, right? So what you can see here is the red line is the current year. We are currently within seasonality. I want to see us stick to that, even though we are during an election year. So this week, based on seasonality, we are supposed to go down. This is what we usually do, and no matter which seasonal analysis you look, right, all time, 15-year, 10-year, 5-year, all these averages tell us that we're going down this week to then continue higher, right, into the close of the year, as we tend to do on NASDAQ, which follows seasonality super well. Looking at this is my plan, right? This is the simplistic approach to my plan. I want to see us go lower, form a probable low for the month of November, of course, and then expand aggressively higher. It is that simple, even though it doesn't sound that simple. I'm seeing Emil type, so I'm going to give him a second to give his comment. But definitely what I want to see is us going lower for higher. Now, if we go and dive a little deeper into price, look at me right now, I'm hearing you talk. Popcorn vibes. I get it. I have a very simple approach to complex data. I like to profile the markets. And statistics and statistical analysis gives me confluence to my ideas. So as I always use, the simple logic is I'm going to look at premium and discount. Currently, we're in the premium and discount of a very big range. So I'm just going to mark it out and really bring you guys along through my process, right? This will be a little longer of an outlook, but I think it is valuable in this specific case. We are currently trading within a bearish range. We are not respecting any premium arrays, right? So I want to see us continuing to expand higher. And my confirmation here would be the invalidation of this fair value gap, right? So inversing this fair value gap would be my confirmation that we are indeed going higher, and we are going to go right up ahead to, this is all-time highs, I believe. Yes, so current all-time highs. Sure. What else? Well, we generated a lot of low resistance liquidity, a lot. So I'm also going to refer to the current bullish range, and no, I'm not going to go all the way back here. Why am I not using this range? Well, it's very simple. We expanded, we retraced. We are no longer going to be utilizing this range because we have already expanded, created the range, retraced into the range, and continued. So my important point is currently this one. Other than that, what do I see? Same thing happened here. We formed the range, retraced into it, and continued. So am I going to be referring to this range? Longer term, yes, right? You can see how my levels align longer term. But short term, this is now my new point of importance. Now I could say that, oh, well, yes, look, we have retraced into it and now broken it. Yes. And then you could utilize just the previous week's range. This is exactly previous week's range, returning to a discount of it, possibly forming some divergence at this level. But truth is, I can see that we don't want to be up here. How? Just look at the close of the candle. And of course, Monday will bring us confluence to that, but we have SMT on the highs. We barely broke this level and retraced, what was it? I believe it was like 250, 231 handles, right? Which in percentages is 1.12%. So we went down 1.12% from that. So what would I expect? Well, continuation lower off of that. I don't think we are going to be respecting this range. So as stated, I want objectives lower. Now we are discussing more than usual, right? And that's in answer to the poll in the announcements where you guys want more information. You want me to go deeper and explain my true process. So this one is a little more intensive, if I can say. I am looking at if-then statements and considering every possible outcome. Now, intermediate term, right? Looking at the next 1, 2, 3 weeks, I want to see lower. I want to see these levels broken, swept, so that I can frame some higher prices. But if we keep going up, I'm not going to try and call the high, just like I did last week. I'm bullish until proven otherwise. What would prove otherwise? Us expanding through a low, right? All I want to see is us breaking a swing low of a higher time frame and expanding through it, having a continuation on the next day or the following day after that, right? I want to see a continuation towards lower. Right now, every time we've been going lower within these price action is only purely as retracements. And now we have taken both sides of the range, of course, with SMT. So looking for a continuation lower would be a great opportunity once we have a confirmation, right? As I said, expanding below low. Until then, I'm going to keep going higher, and I'm going to expect it to be high resistance, expect it to keep trading higher, right up until it gives me my confirmation of a reversal. Where could that reversal happen? I don't want to see this invalidated. As I told you guys in the beginning, this is my last line of defense. If we break this, we are going all the way up here. And yes, this seems like a very small movement, right? But if we, never again yellow, that was ugly. If we look right here at the difference, it is 519 handles. This is great, right? And yes, sometimes we catch huge moves, especially with the volatility we've seen in the past few months. But you have to be happy with less, especially in uncertain conditions like the elections. You have to be ready for every possible outcome, and you have to manage your risk accordingly. And yes, I'm putting a lot of emphasis on this, but it is the most important part of the next 2 weeks in my book. But as I said, continuing higher, as with NFP, I always expect the same thing, right? If we trade higher early on in the week, I'm going to expect a reversal. And if we trade lower during the week, so for example, we go here, then I might anticipate a reversal to the upside, but more likely a reversal into a retracement to have a continuation lower after. So definitely prioritizing lower pricing, but I need my confirmations before I can start to short. So I will be taking long setups until then. I know this was a little bit all over the place, right? As I said, I'm getting used to sharing statistics. It's going to take some time, but slowly but surely we will get used to it and perhaps have a bit more of a flow to these calls. Do you guys have any questions? I know I went over a lot of different stuff, a lot of different back and forth. So if you guys have any questions, shoot. Good idea to not trade tomorrow waiting for more confluence. You could, but the truth is, I trust my edge. I know what I'm looking for. If that comes, then no matter, I am going to trade it. So I will be trading tomorrow. And if my A plus setup comes, then my A plus setup comes. Specifically with Mondays of NFP weeks, I have a tremendously high win rate. I've lost one trade, I believe, since I've started trading on these days specifically. I don't know what it is with Mondays of the NFP week, but that is my best performing day on any given month, pretty much. So definitely going to be trading tomorrow for myself, no matter what I see. But I'm going to wait for my opportunity to come, as they do, day to day, week to week, year to year. And as ICT says, it will never stop. Do you guys have any other questions about this week's outlook? Perhaps the statistics I used? I'm going to start you guys slow, right? And of course, if you want to access these statistics, you can go to official links. You'll find the right statistics and all associated links to it. Currently, $25 a month subscription. Not seeing any of you guys type, so I'm guessing other than that, everything was pretty much clear. As the month moves on, we are going to look at how I adjust to the current conditions to have representative statistics along the way. But this month will be focused purely on election year, which, as I said, expecting a very quick open low into a constant expanding month to higher prices. All right, well, I don't see any questions. All clear, awesome. I'm going to wish you all a great night, a great trading week. We are going to see a lot of each other this week with 4 PA reviews every single day but Thursday. So I hope to see you all there. You guys have a great night. Good luck trading tomorrow. Always a pleasure, Brian.